Thank you, Judge Carter. Ms. Pingree?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you very much, Mr. Secretary, for being here with us today. Just to drill down a little bit on the decisions that are going to be made here. In your testimony, you state that DOD is conducting a deliberate process to identify MILCON projects that could be used as funding sources with 4 broad categories. So I have a couple of questions, and I'll just put them all out there and let you answer. Has OSD developed criteria for determining whether a project is deferrable? If so, can you share that criteria with the subcommittee? If not, is it left to each service to select which projects they consider acceptable to delay? How are you accounting for the incremental costs, including operational readiness, which I know was already brought up, of deferred construction? For example, there are 4 approved but not yet awarded projects at Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, which I represent. One of those is a critical component of the dry dock modernization plan that would allow all of its dry docks on the Virginia-class submarine. If the FY19 project is deferred, the follow-on projects move to the right, and the Navy will have to juggle availability and postpone maintenance. So how do you account for that? And lastly, how will you use your office to ensure that the selection of projects is not influenced by the politics by, say, choosing projects in the districts of members who voted yesterday for the resolution to terminate the emergency declaration? We would hate to see politics intervene here in our military readiness and our ability to retrofit submarines.
Congresswoman, if I could start with the last question first. Having served 34 years in uniform and now back for 2 years, the pride that we take in as much as possible being apolitical in the decisions that we do and looking out for our soldiers or sailors or airmen, Marines, I am aware of no senior leader in the building, military or civilian, that would ever put at risk taking care of those individuals and our capability to fight for simply the role of politics. I've never seen it in the time that I've been, and this is my 4th time in the building, and I would never expect to see it, and I don't think it would be tolerated by anyone there. If I sound emotional on that issue, I am. We're tremendously proud of the approach that we take to take care of those who serve our nation.
Thank you.
Congresswoman, with regards to your other questions, what I would tell you with regards, first of all, to project deferral, the criteria that I spelled out specifically goes to the fact that, first of all, we said that we want to ensure that we pose no or minimal impact on operations. And in doing so, we don't want to impact readiness by the projects that we select. And so that would be the key criteria. And as we walk through the other criteria, is every project that we present to the Congress we believe is important, or we wouldn't have asked for it. What there is within that is some relative importance and priority within that, and what we want to do is understand for those that still have unobligated dollars is that we're minimizing the overall impact as we grant or grade each and every one of those. With regards to your question on service choice, the services absolutely have the best idea of what that looks like, and so we will defer to the secretaries and their assistant secretaries to make the assessment of what that looks like in terms of what are the best projects, as well as their comptrollers to understand what that list of and least impacting projects are as we defer them for some short period of time. And then to recognize there may be some incremental cost. We've not assessed that. I'd be happy to take that question for the record and come back to you and answer that in more detail.
Thank you for those answers, and I appreciate your attempt to be thoughtful in the process. And I also want you to know we value your service to the country and serving in the position that you do, and I really do appreciate your very thoughtful answer about making sure that politics stays out of this. I'm sorry to say that many of us are more concerned about the Commander-in-Chief's inability to leave politics out of this, but I greatly respect your answer and the work that you do, so thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am.